So when it flooded and the lights went out and it was crazy, I locked the ferrets in the cage because trees were falling and all kinds of crazy things were happening.
Oh, hi, babies. You ready to come out?
So when it flooded and the lights went out and it was crazy, I locked the ferrets in the cage because trees were falling and all kinds of crazy things were happening. And I did not want anything to happen where a tree fell onto my house and the ferrets were loose in their room and I couldn't find them in a case of an emergency. So I had all of their stuff packed and ready to go, and I had them in the cage so I could grab all four really quickly if need be. But it seems like everything is okay now and it's calming down, so I'm letting them out and they are really excited. They have not been locked in a cage for the last 2.5 or 3 years, and so this is a very rare occurrence.
Alrighty, go mama get it. Hold on, hold on. Okay, there you go. There you go. Come on. I'm so sorry. I know it. I'm so sorry. It's weird, right? Good. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's put your room back. All right, let's get all your stuff. Here's Snuggle Sack. Here's Snuggle Sack. Here's this. We gotta vacuum your floor. Here's your other carrier that you like. Okay. Here's your big squishy bed. You want a squishy bed? There you go. All right, what else we got? Another snuggly sack. Here's another snuggly sack for my babies. We got your heart pillow. There's your... Sorry, boo. Here's Lammy. Here's Lammy. Here's Lammy. Here's Fishy. Here's another snuggle sack. You guys got a lot of those. Let's see. This one is beat up. We've had this for how many years? 4. All right, let's get your big fish. Let's get your big fish from our one of our favorite Etsy fishes. You got who put the baby in there? All right, here's your fishy. We're gonna put her over here for 1 minute. Put the big fish over there. So this isn't gonna be a really long video. In fact, I didn't have any plans on making a video this week. I'm really busy with Etsy, but we kind of had like an emergency happen today, and I just thought it would be a really good idea to kind of go over one of the main reasons why I still have my ferret cage, and why, even though my ferrets have their own room and are semi-free range, that I still have a ferret cage, and why I feel like it's important that every ferret owner should have a cage for their ferrets, even if they're free range. And just kind of what emergency plan that you have in place should an emergency happen and you need to get all of your ferrets together in one location, just to be able to either get them out of the house, know where they are for safety reasons, and kind of what that looks like, and kind of what I did today when I had to implement that, which was a little bit unexpected. I definitely didn't anticipate what happened to be as severe as it was. So basically, as many of you know, I have a creek that runs through the back of my property. It's a really small creek, like maybe ankle deep most of the time. When it rains, sometimes it's maybe up to your knees, maybe. Hurricane Ida hit New Orleans a couple days ago and is making its way kind of towards where I live, which is in Pennsylvania. And we were expected to receive really heavy rains for 2 days. And there was a possibility of flash flooding. I've lived in this house for almost 3 years, and we've never ever had any kind of flooding at all that I would even remotely consider flooding where I live. So today I was sewing, doing my thing, and all of a sudden all these alerts started going off on my phone. Well, to make a really long story short, my entire backyard, a huge portion of it flooded. And I mean, it flooded. And there was a huge possibility that it was going to come into my house. In addition, my basement flooded, my hot water heater is underwater, my furnace is underwater, my sump pump could not withstand the amount of rain that we were getting. We got 4.7 inches of rain in an hour. And by the time this is all said and done, we would have gotten about 7 inches of rain in a really short period of time, like within 12 or so hours. So in the midst of this, trees are falling. My fence, which I just had put in,
was washed completely out in 2 spots by the creek. It literally washed my cemented in fence post out of the ground. A tree fell over into my yard. And I mean, the thing is that I have all of these animals. I don't just have the ferrets. I have 2 dogs. I have 5 cats. I have a lot of pets. With the ferrets, they're in their own room, and that's great because they're contained. However, they have a lot of places to hide and sleep. And in case of an emergency, there are times where I spend a couple minutes trying to figure out which location in this room, which box, which hidey hole hammock, which snuggle sack, wherever it is they decided they were going to sleep that day. In a case of an emergency where I need to get them and get the heck out of the house, I need to know where they are. So what I did was I put them all in their cage. I opened, then also we had no power, so then there's no circulation in their room, so I have to open up the window. So I had to put them in their cage, open up the window, and then I had to pack a bag basically for them with food, anything they would need if I were to take and leave the house with them. And I had to do this not just for them. I had to do it for all of my pets. All kinds of the food, the like anything you need. Carriers, so I have all my carriers ready to go, all of my stuff. We did not, thank God, end up having to leave our house, at least not till this point. The weather watch is in effect until 11 o'clock. Till 10 o'clock, I'm sorry. It's almost 9:30, so I'm really hopeful that we're not going to have anything else crazy happen today, although a tree did just fall not far because I could hear it hit. It's kind of scary. This is really kind of unusual for this area. Well, at least this amount of flooding. So I had all the ferrets and they were in their cage for a couple of hours until I felt more comfortable letting them out. Although now that I'm hearing the trees fall, I have decided that I'm going to keep them in their cage overnight. I think my biggest fear is that if a tree were to fall on my house, God forbid, and hit any part of this room or cause any damage to the wall structure and they're loose, I'm never going to find them. They're going to be scared and they're going to flee and I'm going to lose them. And I love them and I would probably run into a burning building for them. Please don't ever do that. If I'm not recommending that, I'm just using it as an example. So please don't literally take me literally. And what I would do is not what I necessarily recommend someone else do. Just say that. So I am going to put them back in their cage after all. I was going to leave them out, but I do feel a little worried still. And I just need to know where they are. I just need to know where they are. So that is what's going on. And that is one of the reasons, in all honesty, why I have my cage. There are several other reasons. The other reasons that I keep my cage while I'm just talking about this and the topic came up. If you ever have a sick ferret and you're trying to monitor if they're going to the bathroom or they're eating, the best way, I have multiple ferrets. So if I don't know whose poop is in the litter box unless I see them do it. So if you have a ferret, you're trying to make sure that everything is working, they're doing what they're supposed to do, just so you can tell the vet or you want to, whatever, who has diarrhea, whatever is going on. Having a way to separate them to be able to determine that stuff is really important. So I use my cage when a ferret is sick and I need to monitor that ferret, or if that ferret has, something wrong and they're on medication and they need to rest or anything like that. It's a great reason. And while having a little cage would do, you're still talking about a ferret who needs at least a decent amount of space. So having the 2-story, I have the Critter Nation, but having the 2-story Nation cage is a lifesaver for that. I can break it into 2 parts if need be. And it also allows a ferret who may have to be cage restricted to have enough room to not be confined in a really small area, even if they are purposely being confined. So that's one of the reasons that I keep the cage. Another reason is, let's say that I am deep cleaning their room and I can let them free roam all over the house. But when they go outside of this room, which is multiple times a day, I have kind of a system set up in place where I have my youngest cat is the only cat that wants to play with the ferrets, and they play entirely too rough. And I absolutely am not sure that either the cat or the ferrets would come out unscathed. One or the other would hurt each other. My money may be on the ferrets in this situation, but either way, I have to separate them. So if there's ever a situation where I can't separate him and I'm deep cleaning the room, or for some reason like that, I may lock them in the cage temporarily. There's just a couple reasons why having a cage is great. In addition, my ferrets actually opt to sleep in the cage a decent amount of the time. If all 4 are not sleeping in the cage, I at least most of the time have 1 sleeping in the cage. So they actually like it and they put themselves in there. They use the litter box in there, preferably. They also like to eat in the cage. So there's lots of reasons why I keep it. But having it in cases of emergency is probably the number one reason that I absolutely keep a cage and recommend having a cage and not just a little one. Like a regular sized ferret cage meant for ferrets that's sturdy enough for ferrets. So yeah, that's basically this video. I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update. I am a little shocked at the situation going on around me. I have so much I have to do tomorrow to try to get my house back up and running. Not having a furnace or a hot water heater is only going to last so long. I also have some orders I need to still work on. So sorry if I'm all over the place and bouncing around. Having kind of a moment, you guys. So I'm like coming down off of an anxiety attack a little bit with this. I don't really have anxiety, but you know, we're all human, and when things happen and your adrenaline pumps really high, you kind of get like, so yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys kind of what happened. I was meaning to put a post up about not being able to make a video anyway, and this is just a situation that I feel like I should share with you because right now I feel like there's crazy things happening all over the country, actually all over the world as far as weather goes. And so it's just nice to know how to maybe prepare for that, or just maybe what I did, or if you have a story on what you do to prepare in situations, share that stuff in the comments. I feel like it's really important for all the ferret owners to kind of share their experiences and situations, because that's how we learn from each other. And maybe you guys do something that I didn't think to do that would have been helpful, or maybe you pack something that I didn't pack that maybe would have been helpful. And so if you have any extra information you want to add to anybody watching this video, drop that in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Please, please, please stay safe.